Oh boy, does the body remember what the mind denies. So, what happens when loyalty costs you your well being? When Pluto lives in the sixth house, right here, service becomes survival, care becomes currency, and being needed becomes your entire identity. But what if the pain didn't start with you? What if your body became the battleground, not just for your pain, but for generations of silence? If Pluto lives in your sixth house, this isn't just about service. This is about survival. The chronic illness, the obsession with perfection, the endless proving, the quiet suffering. You inherited more than a work ethic. You inherited a wound. But, beautiful one, Pluto didn't come to destroy you. He came to free you. Because in this lifetime, your healing is no longer a burden, it's a birthright. So, who is Pluto? Pluto is not the destroyer, he is the revealer. In mythology, Pluto was the god of the underworld, but in astrology, he is the keeper of hidden contract, the one that lives beneath your habits, beneath your trauma, beneath your survival. Pluto governs death, rebirth, power, and transformation, not just in dramatic external ways, but in the silent moments where you decide, this ends with me. So, where Saturn builds the structure, Pluto digs beneath it. Where Mars ignites the will, Pluto tests the soul. He doesn't punish, he purges. And in doing so, he exposes the power you were told to forget. Pluto lives in the place where your deepest wound mirrors your greatest potential. And every time he touches a part of your chart, he whispers one sacred question. Are you ready to remember who you are beneath all the pain? You don't have to say yes. Pluto honors free will, but he does not forget. So if you delay the healing, the wound will return in another body, in another lifetime, until you finally reclaim what was always yours. Because Pluto doesn't just want to break you, he wants to birth you. And when he lives in your sixth house, he came to birth a version of you who no longer sacrifices your body just to feel safe, seen, or needed. Welcome, beautiful ones. I'm Cindy, and this is Pluto Through the Houses, a soul mapped descent into the wounds we carry, the power we buried, and the transformation that sets us free. Pluto in the sixth house doesn't make noise. It doesn't announce itself. It moves like a whisper in a in the clenched jaw, the racing heart, the tension you forgot how to release. It hides in the routines that run you, in the way you push through pain, in the way you overgive, overperform, overfix, because somewhere deep down you were taught that being enough was never enough. This is a symbol for Pluto. This is the sixth house. If you look in your natal chart and you have this symbol in this house, anywhere, it can be anywhere in this house, and I'm talking to you, that would be Pluto in your natal, okay? The sign doesn't matter at this point. Just look at the house, okay, and the symbol. This is the house of service. But when Pluto lives here, service can become sacrifice. Healing can become punishment. And self worth gets measured in how much you endure. You may be the one who always shows up, the one others rely on, the one who gets things done, who keeps the world turning. But beautiful ones, what about you? Who holds you? Who sees your exhaustion beneath the smile? Who hears your body when it whispers, please stop? You weren't sent here to prove your value through suffering. You were sent here to remember. And remember that healing is not a reward for perfection. It is your birthright. And this wound, it didn't begin with you. It echoes in your lineage. It pulses in your nervous system. It lives in the unspoken code passed down from those who never had the luxury to rest, to speak, to break. Pluto in the sixth house says, this is where the pattern ends. This is where the body becomes sacred again. So let's see if some of these karmic patterns ring true for you, okay? Because this isn't just about you. This is about every woman in your lineage who was told her body was a tool, not a temple. Every ancestor who served quietly, loved sacrificially, and died with dreams still folded away in silence. Every healer who was never allowed to rest. Every helper who forgot she could ask for help. Every person who believed their worth was earned through doing instead of being. Pluto in the sixth house is a soul contract, a karmic agreement to heal the body and the belief that made it carry everyone else's pain. It's the echo of lifetimes spent in servitude as the village midwife, the battlefield nurse, the housemaid, the monk. It's where you learn to survive through precision, discipline, and pain. But this time, Pluto whispers something different. You don't have to carry it all anymore. Your healing doesn't dishonor them. What it does is liberates them. So let's talk about when Pluto is in the sixth house and how the body remembers. Because this is the placement of the soul who learned to survive by holding it all in. You were the child who didn't get to fall apart, the one who was told to be strong, to be helpful, to behave, to manage everyone else's chaos while you burying yours. And so your body became the storage unit for everything unspoken. The migraines, the gut issues, the chronic fatigue, and oh my God, the autoimmune storms, all of it. Messages written in muscle and marrow. Pluto in the sixth house doesn't just show up as an illness, it shows up as hypervigilance. So, overworking, over perfecting, over giving, under resting, undervaluing, under receiving. It shows up as a need to control, not because you're controlling, but because you never felt safe when things were out of control. You may obsess over routines. You may obsess over health. You may obsess over to-do lists or cleanliness or service because chaos once meant danger and stillness once meant pain. And maybe you don't even realize you're suffering because you've spent your whole life calling it normal. Maybe people praise you for being so dependable, for how much you do and how much you give and how much you endure, right? But Pluto knows the truth. Trust me, he knows the truth. That deep down, you're tired, that your body aches with unspoken stories, that your soul is begging for a softer way to live. This placement often traces back to lifetimes of servitude, of working in silence, of healing others while neglecting yourself, of dying in body while being revered in name. It's the karmic imprint of being the one who held it together for everyone else and never got to fall apart. And in this lifetime, oh, you may feel like your suffering must remain private, like asking for help is weakness, like healing is being selfish, but it's not. It's sacred. Pluto in the sixth asks you to rewrite this contract, to stop earning your worth through pain, to stop using self denial as proof of your goodness, to stop pretending you're fine when your body is screaming otherwise. Because the truth is, you don't owe anyone for your exhaustion. You don't owe them your exhaustion. You owe your soul its restoration. Let your rest be radical. Let your healing be your rebellion. Let your body become a temple again, not because it is perfect, but because it is yours. So now that we talked a little bit about Pluto being in your sixth house in the natal chart and how that affects your body, let's talk about Pluto in society and the wound that society has, because Pluto is a slow moving planet, slow transiting. It affects our society, and so therefore there are wounds in our society. So Pluto in the sixth house wound, and I call this the collective illness that we call normal. Okay, so if the sixth house is the body, the system, the sacred rhythm of daily life, then Pluto in the sixth, he exposes the rotting at the root of how we live. Okay, a lot of this is going to sound familiar. We live in a society that glorifies burnout, that confuses productivity with worth, that calls exhaustion a virtue and rest a luxury. From the moment we're born, we're trained to obey the clock, to push through the pain, to serve systems that don't serve us back. All this stuff makes me upset. We're told to show up no matter what. Don't call in sick unless you're dying. Rest when you're dead. Does that sound familiar? And a lot of us are guilty of this next part. We mock softness. We monetize wellness. We give workers pizza parties instead of healthcare. We tell women their path is, or their pain is in their head, right? Like, how wrong is that? We praise people for working 3 jobs and we call it resilience. This is Pluto in the sixth house, too. A collective wound that says service is more important than sanity. Discipline matters more than joy. The body is a machine, not a miracle. That's all crazy to me. I don't know if that sounds crazy to you, but it just, it's not right. And so we normalize disconnection from our bodies, our boundaries, our breath. We celebrate suffering as if it's productive. We reward denial if it benefits the bottom line. And all the while, the body keeps the score and the soul keeps shrinking. But beautiful ones, Pluto is not just destruction. He is regeneration. And as Pluto moves through the collective sixth house in our charts and culture, in our society, he asks us to burn these false gods at the altar, to dismantle hustle worship, to deprogram our nervous system. Our nervous systems are so out of whack. Let's deprogram them. To remember the sacred living is not earned, it is inherent. Because the revolution doesn't always look like protest. Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it even looks like choosing softness in a world built on hardness. Pluto in the sixth doesn't just want you to heal your body. He wants to help you rebuild the culture that made you sick in the first place. That's what he's here to do for all of us. So let your healing ripple. Let your boundaries echo. Let your softness disrupt. Because every time you reclaim your time, you reclaim your peace, you reclaim your breath, then you are reminding the world that healing is not indulgence. It is the revolution. So now that I've told you a little bit about how it could show up in your body, if you have this placement in the sixth house, and how, as a society, where our wound is, where our wounds are, right? So let's talk about the healing, right? And you guys know me, if you've been watching this series, you know, if we are talking about the sixth house, then we are going to be looking over here at the 12th for healing. Okay. So Pluto in the sixth house teaches you how pain becomes pattern and how service can become self-erasing and how survival becomes your only identity. But directly across the chart, the 12th house calls you to remember you are not here just to endure. You are here to remember the part of you that never broke. You are not broken. The part that watched it all quietly, softly, from behind the veil. That's this part of you. That's the 12th house. The 12th house is the realm of the invisible. It's the place of dreams and ancestors and soul contracts and spirit. It's not about doing, it's about undoing over here. Not about fixing, but about feeling. That's this 12th house. To heal Pluto in the sixth, over here, through the 12th, is to remember what your body forgot, what your soul always knew. And that is that stillness is sacred, that silence is medicine, that healing doesn't come from effort, but from allowing yourself to be seen by the divine. Maybe your body has carried generations of suppression. Maybe your ancestors never had the time to rest. Maybe the pain in your joints, in your gut, in your skin, in your heart, maybe it's not just yours, but the healing can start with you. That's what makes you this beautiful being, because the 12th house reminds us you are not alone in this. You are a part of a greater rhythm, a sacred web of unseen love, waiting to hold you when you finally stop grasping. You don't have to prove your worth and worthy of peace. You are worthy just because you exist. Let me say that again. You are worthy just because you exist. And you are enough just because you breathe. And you don't have to hold the entire lineage anymore. You don't have to. You just have to say yes to your own healing. That's all. That's all. Because, beautiful one, when you rest, you're not being lazy. You are rewriting your family's story. You are telling your ancestors the suffering ends here. If you know me and you've seen me before, if you don't, I don't want to just give you this wisdom. I don't just want to give you this video like, oh, listen to what this says, right? I'm a spiritual advisor, right? I'm a coach. So I'd like to help you begin to do this and begin to get you through this energy and transmute this and finally let go, finally release what no longer serves you, right? So I'm going to give you a little bit of gentle breath work and visualization. Um, you can call it ritual, you can call it steps to take, whatever you want to call it. Okay. What I'd like for you to do is either put yourself in a place where you're very, very comfortable and there's soft lighting, maybe a little bit of music in the background. That could be next to, maybe you have a chair next to the window, right? Maybe you have the middle of the living room floor makes you feel comfortable. Maybe lying on your bed makes you feel comfortable. Whatever, wherever, get in a nice, comfortable place, right? Now, you can always rewind this and do this over and over again, okay? When you're feeling sort of out of sorts and everything's being triggered, okay? So if you can, close your eyes and let your body soften. And by that, I mean, let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. Let your belly rise just a little as you take a slow, full breath. Inhale gently through the nose. Exhale softly through the mouth. And do it again. Inhale gently through the nose and exhale softly through the mouth. Now, with your eyes closed, I want you to visualize or imagine, just for a moment, that behind you stands an ancestor you've never met. Someone who lived a hard life, but prayed for someone like you to come through the line. They are placing their hand on your shoulders now, not to burden you, but to bless you. Breathe into that feeling, the warmth, the gravity, the sacredness of being chosen. Now imagine that behind them stands another ancestor, and another, and another, and a whole lineage of those who never had time to rest, but who now rest through you. And from their hands, through your body, you can see a golden thread begins to weave down your spine, softening the fear, unraveling the pain, reminding every cell you are no longer surviving. You are healing. You are home. And as you take the final breath here, place your hand on your heart and whisper to yourself, softly but clearly, I deserve peace. I deserve to heal. I am no longer carrying it all. Then I want you to pause for just a little bit. Take that in. Listen to your vibration. And when you're ready, gently blink your eyes open and come back to this moment, lighter, softer, and still held. All right, so let's talk a little bit about when Pluto in Aquarius transits through the sixth house, because some of you, if you were born with Pluto in the sixth house, then I've been talking to you. But if you have Aquarius as your sixth house, Pluto is transiting for the next 20 years there. Okay. So from 2024 to 2043, 44, this is who I'm talking to. If it's a transit, if you're not born with this sign in this house, but it is in this house now because it's transiting, it's going through this house. Okay. So beautiful ones, Pluto is now transiting through Aquarius, and over the next 20 years, he will activate your sixth house because that's where he's transiting. The sacred temple of your body, your daily life, and your devotion. And here's what that means for you. Pluto will not just ask what you do each day, he will ask who you become while you do it. This transit is not about fixing your schedule. It's about reclaiming the soul behind the structure. So if your body has been your battleground, Pluto will bring the truth to the surface. You may find suppressed trauma resurfacing as pain, fatigue, or burnout. You may find yourself triggered by systems, coworkers, rituals that once felt safe. You may feel called to purify your environment, your food, your rhythms, not to control them, but to reclaim them. Because this is not about perfection anymore. This is about integration. If your service has been shaped by shame, Pluto will reveal it. This is the lifetime where you'll see exactly how you've been taught to serve others at the cost of yourself, how your worth has and was tied to your output, how your goodness was measured by exhaustion, and how even your spirituality was twisted into performance. But Pluto is here to untangle that lie. He will break the contracts you made with suffering so you can begin the daily devotion of healing. That's why he's doing it. Okay? Now, on a collective level, the collective activation of work and health and artificial rhythms. Okay? As Pluto transits Aquarius, this is what's going to be happening in society. We can already see it. Okay? As Pluto transits Aquarius through the sixth house, we're entering a revolution of labor, health, and automation. Okay. You'll feel this in the collective stage, like out in our society. Okay. It's already happening, but it's gonna be even more. AI will challenge how we define work. Healthcare systems will undergo radical shifts, both breakthroughs and exposures. Hear me well when I say that. And chronic illness, mental health, and burnout will be seen not just as personal burdens, but as systemic systems. Okay? This is a generation that will no longer be willing to die on the altar of productivity. Hear me well when I say this again. This is a generation that will no longer be willing to die on the altar of productivity. This is a time when sacred rest becomes rebellion and spiritual embodiment becomes medicine. So, what's our mission now? Right? Healing through the mundane. Pluto and Aquarius in the sixth house is a slow, sacred transformation, one small choice at a time. It won't always look dramatic. It will sometimes look like going to bed early, saying no to the toxic job, drinking water with intention. Have you ever done that? Had your glass of water, put some intention in it, and then drink it? The fastest way to manifest. Putting your hand on your belly and saying, "Ah, thank you," even when it aches. These aren't small things. These are sacred disruptions to lifetimes of silent suffering. This is how you break the cycle. This is how you become the healer your lineage never had. So, beautiful ones, you were never meant to be a machine. You were never meant to earn your worth through self abandonment. If Pluto is moving through your sixth house, he is not here to punish you. He is here to bring you home to your body, to teach you how to work with devotion, not depletion, to serve without losing yourself, your identity, to be whole on the inside and the outside. So let this be the season where you let go of the martyr myth, where you build sacred systems that support your softness and live each day like your soul actually matters, because it does. And I see you. So, beautiful one, if you felt seen in this transmission, if something inside you softened or stirred or began to breathe again, then this is just the beginning. This episode is part of the Hero series, Pluto Through the Houses, a soul map journey into the hidden wounds and sacred transformation that shape your life. Each placement is key. Each video is a mirror. You are not alone in this, and you were never too broken to heal. So after this, please go watch the other Pluto episodes, especially if your partner or your child or a parent or a friend has Pluto in different houses. Understanding their wound can help you hold them with more love and yourself with more grace. And if you're ready for grounded guidance and soul aligned support, join me for Sacred Sync. That's another one of my series, my collective tarot series, which releases every Tuesday and Thursday here on this channel. These aren't just readings, they're reminders that you are seen, you are supported, and you are sacred and synced with something greater. Let the cards speak to your current frequency and help you return to the rhythm of your soul. So tell me also before you go, tell me in the comments what landed for you in this episode. What part of your healing are you reclaiming? Have you felt Pluto in your sixth house, in your body, in your work, in your rituals? I read every comment. I witness you. You do matter. I'm with you in this. And for those of you that have never seen me before, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, so you don't miss the rest of the Hero series, the weekly astrology forecast, or the transmissions that Spirit asks me to share. Like, comment, share this with someone who needs it, because healing in public is not a performance. It's a permission slip. And when we all of us remember together, we rise.